Oh, that's a great question. I still think the game plan is kind of similar to the same. Um, he's obviously going to try to get. I'm trying to get him in center field. Try to move him around a little bit. There's a chance he could play some third base, or if something happens to Rugi second base. I'm going to try to do everything I can to get him in the lineup. So any way possible, he can play the corners. He's actually played right field quite a bit. Played left field. So anything we can do to get him in there, I'm going to try to do.
And to go back to this, teams that score first are 70% of the time they win. That seems to put a real premium, I'm sorry, on early game offense. And is he one of your, is there a scenario you can see in which he's not one of your nine best offensive players?
I mean, we got a pretty deep roster, so yeah. I mean, he's definitely an offensive threat. He's still got a lot to prove. I think what he did last year, I was really impressed with. But at the big league level, I'm not gonna, he's still got to earn that playing time. And listen, I've told the team, if guys get off to good starts, if guys are playing well, especially even in this scenario, if they're swinging the bat really well, I'm gonna find a way to get you in there. We're gonna ride those hot streaks for sure. So. Yeah, do I believe in Nick Solak? Of course. Like I think his approach, his swing, his mechanics, his mental capacity, the way he prepares, I've been really impressed. But he's still got to prove that at the big league level.
Thank you.
Other questions, please raise your hand. Chris.
So Leon Tavares hit a home run today. Obviously, we know his defense is good. We're waiting on to see the development of his bat. What are you seeing so far? Obviously, it's probably just the first day. Spring training plus anything going on recently. What are you seeing from Leody at the plate?
Yeah, I thought he was Barry Bonds after his first at bat. No, I've been really impressed, obviously, with his work. During the spring training that I got to see him, talking to all the hitting coaches, just seeing how he went about his day, the commitment he had to kind of learning and growing. I think he's come a long way, especially talking to a lot of people about, the progress he's made over the last couple of years. They've seen some significant, improvement, especially from a swing mechanic standpoint. He used to drift and kind of fly open on his front side, and now he's staying a little more closed, which allows him to, like he did today, pull those, those cutters, those hard sinkers inside. Like it allows him to have a better path to those balls, and you can see the power. I think physically he looks better than I remember seeing him at the end of last year. I saw him come into camp. He was ready. His hands are, ginormous. So, I mean, I feel like this kid's really going to hit. We all can't wait to see that kind of, progression to happen. And I think we're seeing it as we speak. So I'm really excited about it. To come in first at bat against Corey Kluber and, take a cutter in off the plate, like keep it fair, was pretty impressive.
Speaking of Kluber and, both him and Miner pitched today, what are you seeing from your starters? Obviously, this is the strength of the team, so a lot riding on these arms. So, what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's pretty cool having the. I don't normally get to stand that close, so we got the the portable TrackMan out there, and I get to stand really close to see what the action is on their pitches. And I talked to our catchers, I talked to our pitching coaches to see what kind of life they got, but stand that close and to see that, their first outing for Kluber to go 5-85 and Miner to go 4-75, like. These guys are ready to go, and they're commanding the baseball. I thought both guys did really well early on. I think Corey in the beginning said he was struggling a little bit, but once he found his slot and his command got better, he started really executing his pitches like he normally does. Backdoor sinkers. He started throwing some up and in sinkers to righties, which he normally doesn't do. It just shows the effectiveness that he'll have. So it's exciting to watch. Miner. He's such a perfectionist. If you watch his mannerisms out there, you'd think he wasn't doing well. But he felt really good about it. He felt, that he was in a good spot. A couple of front door changeups, punched out a bunch of guys. It's just typical Mike Minor, what we've seen. But to see the life on his ball from behind like that, up close, it just shows me that these guys are ready to roll.
TR?
Mr. Woodward, Nick Solak can play multiple positions, and first base is a position that appears to be open on the Rangers. What is the significance of Solak at first base? Is this just increases versatility, or is this something that could be an everyday spot for him?
Yeah, I'm not ruling any spot honestly out as an everyday spot. I think first base does kind of, there is an opening a little bit there, so I do see him getting some time there. Obviously the center field part, I think the corners too. If we're gonna, we can DH Willie, or we can do certain things to get him out there, or we can DH him for that matter. But yeah, first base is definitely a spot that I'm gonna expect him to get some action, and he's been obviously working over there as well.
Okay, thank you. Emily Jones has got her hand raised too, by the way.
Okay, I'll go to Jeff.
Hey, Chris. So how badly is Miner off schedule? Is this going to be a quick adjustment, or
No, he's
yesterday did it really screw him up?
No, it doesn't at all. We preferred to have him throw yesterday, but the only thing he's not going to get is a day off. I think next time around he's actually going to pitch the same day as Kluber again, and then nobody's throwing on the 12th, so that's actually going to extend where everybody else in the rotation would get an extra day. He'll just be on 4 days rest, just like normal. So nothing's going to change. I think early in the season there's so many off days he's going to get an extra day or two, just like everybody else will. But all it does is just doesn't give him an extra day that everybody else would get.
Okay. How are you able to judge the quality of work that guys did when they were away from a team? Do you need games to see how much they improved, or can you look at it in drills and tell with the naked eye?
Watching them today, you see them when they compete, and I think as we go, some guys are gonna look really good in the beginning, and you're gonna see the work that they put in if they can sustain that success, or they can sustain their ability to keep their body in proper technique. So what I'm seeing right now, it's kind of I've been really impressed, obviously, and that was something that we asked of our players in this off time, to not take it for granted, and to have this be an advantage for us when we returned. And I feel like that's where we're at. But obviously we're evaluating these guys every day and every time they go out there. But the one thing I'm impressed with so far is the competitiveness between the at bats, the quality that these guys aren't taking it off. You see Mike Miner out there, you see Corey out there, you saw Lance the first day. Nobody's taking any pitches off. Guys that are young, Taylor Hearn, these guys are trying to make a team. So there's a lot of competitiveness. The bat quality has been decent, but the pitching, like these guys are bringing it from day one, and that's kind of what we asked.
Are Gibson and Lyles the next 2 days?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
Emily?
you.
Emily? Hello?
Sorry, I don't have the raised hand thing. Hey, Woody, as
What's up,
far
Em?
as like the matchups are concerned and who you're throwing, who you're wanting to face, what pitcher, how strategic are you being in that as far as those personnel matchups?
Yeah, we talked about that a lot today. I think right now, I'm kind of making sure guys are getting their at-bats, and Julio kind of has it matched up. I've told him, from the first outing, we're probably not focusing on it as much. But the second and third time, obviously when these guys pitch, I've asked Julio to kind of let me know what he wants to see. When I look at a left-handed pitcher, Taylor Hearn, I'm gonna might go right, or left, right, left, so that way he faces some right-handed hitters, because teams aren't going to stack their lineup with all lefties, obviously, because they know that the 3-batter minimum, it's hard to do that. From my standpoint, I can't bring in a guy for 3 lefties. So we're obviously trying. We can do a lot of different things in this scenario. We're gonna put runners on second base, nobody out. We're gonna drill a lot of these things to try to gain an advantage in any way possible, especially from a situational standpoint.
And as far as the hitters are concerned, are you wanting the younger guys to go up against the, I guess they're all experienced at this point, but are you looking at it in the same vein with the hitters as well?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard because it's funny. I made a comment to our staff today. I wanted our main guys to face Gibson, because we're actually playing a real game tomorrow for like 4 innings, and then I was like, well, I also want Elvis to play behind Kyle Gibson, so I can't have both, obviously. So I may tomorrow I'm probably going to have our lineup behind Gibson, our full lineup. But then there's certain days where I'm going to mix and match. I might put the outfielders to hit against Lance, with the infielders playing behind them, or vice versa. So we can do it pretty much any way we want. But there's specific things that we're obviously wanting to see, especially the guys that haven't played behind Kyle Gibson. I want Elvis and Rugi to play behind him so they know kind of what his pitches do, what it looks like when guys take swings off him, so they can get a better feel for where the balls are going to go.
Thank you.
Raise your hand, you have a question? Levi Weaver.
Hey Chris, I know you said you had the TrackMan stuff there. I have two different numbers that I would like to ask about. One is Kluber's velocity, and the other is Miner's spin rate. Do you happen to remember those offhand?
I didn't see the. I know Miner's spin rate's pretty high. It's one of the highest in baseball, so pretty sure it's still there. I didn't see the velo on Kluber. I was asking more. I haven't seen the actual data yet. I was asking on balls and strikes on a lot of them to see if, because we have the data to see if it's a strike or ball, but I haven't seen the velo.
Okay, all right, no worries. Thanks.
Other questions for Woody? Kevin Grant.
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to go back to one thing on Solak and first base. How has the view of that changed since the shutdown? 'Cause it seems like you guys told him to do a little bit more work over there during the shutdown.
Yeah, I think we were kind of transitioning into that before we got shut down. I wanted to see him in center field, obviously because he'd never really, hadn't played there a ton. So I wanted to see what that looked like, and I didn't want to distract him, for the first week or two in spring training. I wanted him to solely focus on that, and then slowly transition into, some first base and maybe even some third base. But right now, I would say it's probably more first base than third base, and obviously center field or the corners.